Right, I'm back again. Right, go away you. You caused me problems last time. There you go. This guy keeps coming back, River Churnet. This is fantastic. So I'm just gonna, he's stalking me now, I think. So I'm just gonna read some of these, well, all of his delightful comments. Oh, it's up. It's up. My plea plant in the government offices. The ads are running. Ads are running. So you might see that on Facebook soon. River Churnet. I've no idea. Is a Churnet? Is Churnet? Is that a river? Where's that? Hello. Yes. Oh, thank you, mate. Jesus Jones. Good old boy. Is the River Churnet a river? I'm assuming that's where he got it from. Hello, Demo. Shush now. I'm trying to read abusive comments. I don't know where that is, if it is a river. I have watched a number of your videos and I've come to the conclusion that you are full of shit. So I'm not swearing. I am swearing, but this is what he's saying. So I've put, cheers, always nice to meet a fan. This was on the debt recovery solutions video that I just did yesterday. And remarkably, I can see them. Because a lot do get hidden from me. So I said, show me where any of this has worked and I will change my mind. So I said, well, that's easy. I don't pay council tax, national tax, or my TV licence. Haven't done for quite some time. HMCTS reckon I owe them about 1,500 quid for a couple of... Oh, hello. Oh, yes, I know you. I don't know what that means, Jesus. HMCTS reckon I owe them about 1,500 quid for a couple of so-called verdicts. They're never getting their cash because I've made them look utterly moronic online. So he comes back, so things are still ongoing. Oh, by the way, I did get my beer, finally. Thank you. So things are still ongoing. One day, Lady Justice place you on her scales and they won't tip in your favour. They will come for your house one day. I will confess to laughing at one of your vids from 4 years ago when some bailiff said he was going to arrest you and place you in his custody van. He was a special kind of moron. Now, I don't know, that's getting a bit vague in memory, so I don't know if he means Dick Giblet. I don't know, what's Chrissy Morris done, mate? He probably did catch out a councillor. He's very good, Chrissy Morris, I like him. I don't know if that means Dick Giblet, who of course was featured in the 3 unlawful arrest videos, unlawful arrest part 1, part 2 and part 2.2. Or I think maybe he means Chris Green from Marston's, who has now left his job because he was too afraid to stand up against me in court. That was Phone Call to Marston Bailiffs. That was a good one. That had people chuckling. So I've just put, well, they've never worked in my favour and I was never allowed to give evidence in court, as I've just been discussing on my last live video about 10 minutes ago. I was told by a Crown Court judge I wasn't allowed to give evidence in court. Now they won't knock on my door because they kept having to leave their jobs, including 2 chief constables. So he's put, I'm sure you were personally responsible for 2 chief constables losing their jobs. And I think an insulting emoji there, I'm not quite sure what that is. Perhaps if you got a barrister, things might go in your favour because judges don't want to know pseudo-law, Freemason of the land nonsense. So I'm reading it as he's put it. So this is, you know, I think that's supposed to be Freemason. But that doesn't really work because the Freemasons aren't common men, are they? The Freemasons are the conspirators. They're the ones bloody breaking all the laws. So I put barristers are just as bent as the rest of them. I went up against one of them with a friend who was having his questions to the prosecution answered by the county court judge. That's Chowdhury, and he just nodded along, meaning the barrister. And And yes, 2 chief constables and many more lost their job because of me, including about 250 from the local council when the theft of 25 years of taxpayers' cash orchestrated by John Major was exposed by me. He's back again. Big fan of your work. If that had a glimmer of truth in it, it would be on national news. But after a check, I found nothing. So you represent yourself, talk a load of nonsense and get told by the judge that basically you're an idiot. I had a barrister once and he got me off on a very serious charge. So, well, we can only imagine that. So you were talking out of your arse there. You are not a qualified barrister or solicitor. No wonder they tell you to sit down and shut up. Well, no, it's not in the national press because there's a media blackout, mate. There's a mainstream media blackout. And believe me, I've tried a lot. I mean, I really hate to post a gloomy picture here, guys, but this is the way it is, unfortunately. Until all this started, I actually believed in the police and I actually believed in the establishment. And I had no clue whatsoever what exactly all was going on. You know, you only have to look at a case like Rotherham, when the police and the councils blatantly ignored sexual abuse of thousands of girls, you know, to not upset the equilibrium. And you realise that no, they're not on our side. And then I'd missed that one before actually, because he'd put 2 in a row, I think. Good job, you stood down as a Conservative councillor for Fen Stanton in 2009 after 2 years. So he's been Googling me now, you see, and this is when it starts to get a bit freaky. And to think at one point you were going to stand as Police and Crime Commissioner. This is nothing but a vendetta against your local council that has spiralled into paranoia and delusional behaviour. Well, for your information, River Churner, I always was paranoid because I'm bipolar. And I've also got OCD and anxiety, derealisation, and a number of other ongoing things. So if you want to make fun of that, then you crack on. I don't think it'll be well received generally. So, spirals into paranoia and delusional behaviour. Rants against various prime ministers confirm this. Well, no, I've got rants against various prime ministers because there's been so many prime ministers. I mean, I think we've had 3 in the last 5 years, haven't we? No wonder St Ives is a dump if you live there. Can we just go back to this vendetta bit, because it was Chief Constable Alec Wood who started the bloody vendetta against me when he personally put his name to a summons against me when I hadn't actually been charged or arrested with any offence. And that's how it actually ended up in... I don't know how it ended up in Crown Court. It was accidental, I think, that it ended up in Crown Court. But the reason we went for 2 hearings, and the reason I ended up being told that I wasn't allowed to submit evidence, was because in the first hearing, the CPS didn't actually manage to formally request in court that the case was put back to Magistrates' Court. So we all had to go back again a week later, because the CPS are bent as well. Not to mention incompetent. Yeah. So I'll just put, so glad you think so. You only went to 1 meeting, pounced 4,000 from them, let down those who elected you, and pissed off to become yet further a ponce. He's not actually provided any evidence to explain why I was further a ponce. It wasn't a paper, because the Hunts Post, of course, as well, won't report on the 25-year theft, and because they're obviously bent as well. So they started up a big campaign. I can only imagine who gave them the idea. But they started up a big campaign to suggest I'd been sacked, because at the time the job I had, I was struggling to get to meetings. In fact, I went to considerably more than 1 meeting, but really. So he's obviously been Googling me, he's got that out of the paper. Has anyone ever egged your house? Well, no, they seem to quite like me around here, because actually I keep on getting bent public servants sacked. You are stamping your feet because they called a motion demanding you resign. Which was the bit, that's what the bit in the paper was about. So I've just put, no, the paper did that because the Hunt's Post is bought and paid for as well. And here we go, this is when it gets quite freaky. Did they also pay for your 4 square, 6 rectangular wooden panels front door and black letterbox? Nice drapes in the lower window, my gran wouldn't have had them. If you rent that house, I bet you don't rip your landlord off. You live on a crescent. Yeah, you can't spell crescent now. Because like you, it is round the twist. By the way, nice garden. He's actually put the house name and number there. I'm sure I know a lot of you know where I live, but I'm not going to read that bit out. Sounds a shitty place. I'm not going to say you've got the wrong house, mate. I know exactly which house you're describing, but it's not mine. So that was, wow, he's obviously got on Google Maps there as well. So he's really, really determined to dig that knife in, isn't he, there? River churn it. Well, you waste your day stalking me, mate. I'll see you all later.